Something I wanted to ask is, what would you do to manage your ADHD if you didn't have the meds? To be perfectly fucking honest, I could see myself stopping the gaming aspect of OFA. Like basically what I want to do, here's the grand design, right? There is a mountain ahead of you and it's symbolic of the thing that you want. It could be anything. That's the mountain. It's so far, it's out of your reach. It's almost impossible to imagine it really happening. And the fact that like, if you were to ever reach this thing, it's surreal. I think too many people look at that mountain. They think of all of the steps that it's going to take to even get to the peak of that mountain, right? And then you just never do it. You just never even attempt. You never even attempt to get to the top of the mountain. What you really need to do.
Yep. TwoMad fucking slumped over his desk playing Overwatch, bruh.
Rest in
OD'd on that tracer ass.
Rest in power, big boy.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, I would agree, Ambush. It is pretty fucked that people are like rejoicing his death. Even
well, it's because they
fucked up things.
Yeah, it's because they think that he's a fucking. Well, actually, yeah, they think that he's like some kind of like pedophile rapist motherfucker or whatever the which if it hasn't even been proven, then like
right.
Oh, I literally don't give a fuck. If it hasn't even been the one thing that's really fucked is that fucking one guy on James Ski or whatever the fuck he is.
James Ski?
Yeah, because he's like, as soon as he dies, this motherfucker is like, I'm gonna come out with this story now that he's dead. It's like, okay, bro, if you've got all this shit, why are you vague posting? Why are you vague posting so fucking hard on Twitter without like posting any of the evidence? Post it all at once. Why are you doing it like this, you fucking weirdo? Like trying to farm.
Why are you dropping it like a live service game?
Well, trying to farm, like, you know, he's basically like putting out a trailer for this like shit. Like if it's actually that serious, post it. Post the shit that you've got. Don't fucking do this weird like, this summer we're gonna be dropping the bomb about TwoMad. Like all this fucking weird like hype. You're building hype for this shit. It's like, bro, you're
guys,
so cringe.
Welcome to update 1.2. Today we're gonna be releasing the TwoMad patch notes.
Yeah, it's like, what the fuck are you doing? Just do what you're supposed to do with the information and fucking get it over with, you fucking loser fuck. Actual degen behavior. Fuck that guy. Yeah, I don't like shit like that. It's like, bro, if you've got some shit to say, if you got the information, get it all together, put it up, you know, and then, you know, let it go.
That's how he passed away. He was raging. His fucking teammates weren't pushing.
It's fucked up, man.
I'm sorry.
It's fucked up. Let it be known here, guys. J-Pub's a piece of shit.
Let it be known here, guys. Bobby's a bigger piece of shit.
Yeah, it's true, actually. No, actually, I'm like a piece of shit, but you're the bigger one.
What? Why?
And this has been borne out in evidence.
What?
Listen, I don't have to explain it right now, but it will come out in the document.
Bobby's just gonna drop a fucking video on his BobbyDaKidd channel. Why J-Pub's a massive
No.
piece
It'll be about J-Pub. ...
It's gonna be like, let's talk about the situation.
Let's talk about J-Pub.
It's like 28 minutes long.
Yeah, no, literally.
How much shit do you have on me, man? What did I do?
Dude, I have a fuckload. It's a whole document, I said.
Austin goes into Bobby's room. He just sees like 5 folders with my name under.
Listen, I'm telling you, don't fuck with me, bro.
Each folder's like 3 terabytes.
Don't come out with it publicly, at least, bro. I'll fucking roll you. Don't even try me.
What do you mean?
Don't even try me.
What do you even say?
I'm just saying. I'm just fucking putting it out there, bro. Don't even fucking test it.
I can't wait for this clip to be put in a fucking, oh god, what's that guy's name
iceberg
again that does the video? No, not an iceberg, but what's the guy that does like the downfall videos?
Oh, Sunny V2.
Yeah, I can't wait for this clip to be in a Sunny V2 video where it's like the downfall of J-Pub.
I would actually respect that motherfucker if this kind of thing, like, let's say like all of that comes out, like, right, like the video comes out about you or some shit like that, blah blah blah.
What? No, I don't like how we keep talking.
Hypothetically,
about this,
no. Let's just fucking, if that does happen, which it won't, unless you do some dumb shit. That's the only way it comes out, honestly, J-Pub. So just don't be retarded. Anyway,
Robert, how
Why do
many
you
rooms
keep
do I
saying?
need?
Why do you keep saying it comes out like you already have something on me? You're making it sound worse.
Robert,
Chat, this
What?
fucker's
how many
gaslighting
rooms
all
do I
of you.
need?
oh, let me look at that up real quick. Oh wait, I should have it in the notes, but let me see. How many empties are there?
Can't wait for this clip to be in general. Like, wow, there's some J-Pope's got some shady shit going on in the background.
Do you find it funny that last year you were saying how you didn't want OFS to be not? Yeah, I know. Yeah. It changed very quickly. Because there was a lot of thoughts going into what we were making and what we were supposed to do and stuff like that. But now you're just diving headfirst into Terraria stuff. Yeah, and I mean, like, I feel like it's a good thing, a good experiment for this year. So I'm definitely gonna have fun with it. It's also getting me to like learn coding. So I feel like it's like a worthwhile endeavor at this point, you know? Because what's the alternative for me to like pick a different game and try and do something unique with all kinds of different games? It's like, fuck it, whatever, you know? This is kind of the game that I think would be the most entertaining, entertaining to try and like do something different with. Because like I said, yeah, I mean, if you look at like so many different Terraria channels, it's like a lot of the same shit. And like mine is a little different as it stands. Like I do the narration stuff too. But it's a little bit different than a lot of what other people are doing. And it works for them, sure. I just don't like it. And I don't like having the I don't like the narration aspect of it being like the main draw, you know? So yeah, we're gonna see if we could change it, shift it a little bit, shift the norm a little bit. There will still be narration. I think that's just gonna be a part of like a lot of gaming in this kind of realm, in the sandbox world. That's just part of it. But let's see if we can shake things up a little bit. I felt that it was a good decision because I've heard that other big YouTubers say it is very hard to be broad because of the fact that you don't have a consistent audience. Exactly, yeah. And that's what I was figuring out too. It's like, yeah, people would watch some of our stuff, but it's so obvious. Like, people really love the Terraria content, and it's just like, I like the game too. There's no reason for me to be stubborn and not, you know, fulfill that want, because people want the thing. Just get better at the thing that people want. So yeah, it makes sense. Oh fuck. Because it was mainly like a stubborn thing, and like this idea that like I would get too stuck into it. But if I'm bringing something fairly unique to Terraria, what's gonna stop me from, you know, shifting gears later on, you know, once there is an audience that enjoys what we do, you know? So who knows? I'm not really too worried about it either way, because big thing, I'm getting a lot of my other friends into just making videos as well. So yeah. If I get burnt out on Terraria, I think that's like an inevitability for sure. But that's why I'm also learning, like, not just how to code things into Terraria, but to how to code in general. Because I think that will allow me to shift the focus from just being Terraria and being able to go into other things with, like, this tool that I now have in my utility belt, you know? So, like, if I do get burnt out of Terraria, it's not, like, the only thing that's going to draw people. I could be doing some different stuff with like other games and stuff. Please! And that's the effort, right? The effort you got to put in is to try and make it so that people aren't just there for the game you're playing, but also kind of there for you. I fucking hate this. But yeah, I mean, it's an inevitability that like I probably will get burnt out from Terraria at some point. But you know, hopefully that isn't going to be for, you know, too long. And I could imagine that it won't be for quite a while. OFS needs to do a band and you and J-Pop vocals. Yeah, I mean, like I was saying, the biggest thing about like creating the OFS thing was just like getting my other friends to do this shit too, because like I could see myself stopping the gaming aspect of OFS. Like basically what I want to do. Here's the grand design, right? I'll give you like the general idea. Grand design is gaming isn't like necessarily like the thing I want to box us into overall. Maybe it's what we start off doing, but eventually I just want it to be like a foundation for us to be able to do whatever we want to creatively, whether that be like, you know, designing clothes or something like that. Like, cause like that's something I think will be really fun. OFS is supposed to be like the foundation. I think you've already heard me say this a few times. Foundation for literally whatever we want to do. It will eventually just be like representative of us and our wants. So there probably could be an aspect of OFS that will be like musically inclined. Part of it will be clothing inclined. Some of it will be still like video, you know, YouTube oriented and stuff like that. In really like whatever direction any of us want to go, that is the goal. So OFS is supposed to be like the foundation for that. I know that's what I want to work on. I need to work on the website next, because I have some ideas for like some crew necks. Because right now that's like the shit that I really like. That's the shit that I really fuck with a lot is crew necks. Different designs of those would be really fun. And we could have there's so much diversity with that too. It's a fun thing for sure. I don't like the way that a lot of YouTube merch looks. How it's like not really that creatively fulfilling, I don't think. It's like a lot of like prints and like logos. I want to make some stuff that's like a little different. That is almost like a skateboarding brand, you know what I mean? But it doesn't necessarily need to be held to that. But yeah, that shit'll be definitely like a goal. So even if I get burnt out on like the gaming aspect of it or like Terraria or something like that, there's gonna be a whole bunch more shit, hopefully. If everything all pans out, that we focus on. That references jokes from the streams and videos like dog milk cereal. Yeah, I mean, that is like part of it too. Like that will be like, hopefully, that is part of like the vision of it a little bit. Ah, fuck. Kind of want to learn the guitar. I've been loving acoustic and folk music. Yeah, I mean, I feel like it's not... that's also another thing I've been thinking about a little bit is making some kind of project. This year is like big science experiment for me. But that is something we're not going to... Well, we could probably go into it. I have a theory that pretty much anybody can learn whatever the fuck they want as long as you don't have like some kind of huge debilitating disability or some shit like that with your brain. Basically, if you're not fucking rich. I'm just kidding. That's a little crazy. No, I feel like people have a massive amount of like capacity within their brain that they just don't like kind of allow themselves to believe. Maybe I'm fucking wrong. Maybe I'm just an outlier. But I feel like people can learn a fuckload of shit within not that long of a time, and so really surprise themselves with how much they can do. And I'm thinking about making videos about it. I'm not sure yet. It'll be very much like a experimental thing, but like basically some of the experiments that I'm running, regardless of if I make videos about it or not, is like first off coding, teaching myself how to code. That's something that I've spent the last 2 months doing. Still finishing it. I should be finished with the first chapter basically of that this week, actually. In the next couple days, I'll be done with the first coding course. And after that, obviously, I'm still going to keep on coding and teaching myself stuff. But yeah. Another part of that is learning the piano. And that is to have the eventual outcome of you know, being able to play the piano, being able to play like pretty much any song that I feel like, because I feel like I could do it. Yeah, so like if I could like pick up these types of things, I feel like most people just don't know that they can do these things. Because here's the way I kind of visualize it. Wait, before I say that, let's see. You're not entirely wrong. I've been writing down philosophical thoughts at least once a week in a journal, and I've been genuinely surprised at how good I am at writing. Not to toot my own horn. Yeah, no, like literally, it's fucking insane. Like, me and Austin were talking about this like the other day, where here's the way I visualize things. At least in the realm of learning. And learning is like actually one of the fucking biggest things that I feel like actually gets fucking slept on. And it's kind of odd. But I think it's because people don't know how fun it could be and how fulfilling the way you set it up is. So we're just gonna ignore the game for now. Okay, we're gonna ignore it. So we're gonna ignore it. I need to not look at it. Let's look at me. So here's how I visualize it. It's taking way too long. Why the fuck is Justin down there? There's a mountain, right? So there's a mountain ahead of you. And that is a hypothetical or a symbol. It's symbolic of a thing that you want. Getting to the top of the mountain is symbolic of a thing that you want. Remember that. And in a lot of times we look at that mountain and we're like, holy fuck. There is a mountain ahead of you and it's symbolic of the thing that you want. It could be anything. It could be, I want to learn how to make music, or you have this vision, this massive vision of this thing that you really fucking want to do. Let's say you dream of like singing on a big stage or something like that, or performing for a huge fucking audience, or whatever it may be. That's the mountain. It's so far. It's out of your reach. It's almost impossible to imagine it really happening. And the fact that like if you were to ever reach this thing, it's surreal. I think too many people look at that mountain and think, holy fuck. They think of all of the steps that it's going to take to even get to the peak of that mountain, right? And then you just never do it. You just never even attempt. You never even attempt to get to the top of the mountain. What you really need to do is you need to not think of all of the steps and how immensely impossible that feels. Immensely impossible all of those steps feel, and really focus on the step that's right below you. Don't look up at the peak, look down at the feet right in front of you and just take one step. Boom. And that's it. And it sounds fucking like obvious, like, oh yeah, duh, just take one step, dumbass. But like, I feel like it's hard for people to really chunk big goals that they have. Hard for them to break these things down into bite-sized steps. And that is like what I'm experimenting with this year. Big, very massively. Just 1 minute so I cannot clip this whole thing. Okay, no worries. Maybe I'll cut it into like a video because I am recording too, so it's okay. Maybe I'll post it on BobbyDaKidd or whatever. As like a stream highlight or something like that. Because that's something I also want to do too. But yeah, that is the experiment effectively. So I think one thing that was really hard for me, because recently I just got an ADHD diagnosis, and I started taking some medicine, and like within the first couple of days of using it, there was an immediate change that surprised me. I have been able to do a lot of things very effectively. It is kind of taken my brain and zoned it in to allow me to hit my target a lot more often. Something I read is that to form a good habit of something you want to do, you have to love the process of what you're doing, not love the goal that you want to reach. Possibly. I think I mostly agree. Yeah, because here's what is very important. You have to be able to hit small targets every day. So let's use an example, right? Let's say you want to learn how to play the piano, for example, which is something that I'm doing. If you want to learn how to play the piano, the target that you're trying to aim for and hit can't be being able to play the piano. It's too broad. It feels harder. It feels like almost impossible to hit without a lot of shit before you even hit the target, right? You're gonna shoot and the bullet's not hitting the target for like maybe a year. That feels out of reach. That feels way too out of reach. What you really need to do is shoot at targets that are within range, within like tangible range. And this is the reason I brought up the ADHD thing is that is very fucking hard for somebody who has ADHD to be able to care about the targets that are right in front of you. Unless you're like, it's a reason that video games are such a like really good thing for somebody who has ADHD is because it has a recurring reward system. It's hard for you to offset those rewards without being able to like have it. Video games are something that have a built-in reward system that like snap, 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 snap. There's always something happening that like is feeding the dopamine into your brain that allows you to be able to like focus on it for like 14 hours. But you can't like focus on literally anything else that doesn't have that same kind of reward system. You know what I mean? Kind of like how kids want to be rock stars or something, but they don't want to spend years of their life perfecting that. Yeah, because the idea of perfecting something feels like impossible. That's why so many people are like, oh, I would love to draw. It'd be so cool to be able to draw. It'd be so cool to be able to do this or that or whatever the fuck. But like you literally don't have the capacity to, you don't realize how capable of it you really are. And that's why you like, people say things like, oh, that person can draw. You're so lucky that you could draw because you're like naturally talented or whatever the fuck. It's like, it's not that they're naturally talented. It's that they did things. They did the thing and practiced and boom, they got this good at it, whatever. You should need to read the book Atomic Habits. It is very similar to what you were talking about right now. I'll definitely write that down. Hold up. Let me write that down. I could show you my notes.
I need more tin walls.
More tin walls?
Yep.
Okay, one sec. Also, what you were just saying is literally what I posted in Art Corner the other day. Yeah, no, like that's why I was using that as an example. Is it's really true. It is extremely true. But like I was saying, the ADHD thing, the recurring reward is something super fucking important. And I think even without having ADHD, it is something that is very motivating. Now, to explain like kind of how my brain was before I was using some of this like medicine and stuff like that is, I feel like even with ADHD, I was very highly motivated, but there was a barrier keeping me from being able to do more than what I was doing. Because even though I had ADHD, I was getting some stuff done, but like it was fucking exhausting. It was like I had to fight super fucking hard to get certain things done. And unless there was like an immense amount of pressure for me to do some specific thing, I wouldn't do it. Yeah, I'll have to read that book for sure. That sounds like a really good one. I have also been reading a lot more. And it's also, the medicine is also part of the reason that I'm not gaming as much without like a goal. So I haven't even been playing Hunt Showdown like off stream either. So, which kind of doesn't make me that sad actually. It doesn't really make me upset. because my new game has been experiments with my goals and shit like that, which is actually really fucking dope. And I will be able to actually read that book that you just suggested. But anyway, targets are very important, regardless of whether or not you have ADHD. A semi-constant reward system, right? So for piano, to get back on track a little bit more, for piano, it is not the case that you should be focusing on trying to learn how to play piano, but more so that you should be focusing on the targets that are going to lead you to learn piano, right? I fucking hate you. I fucking hate you so much, you piece of shit. So for piano, to keep myself on track as much as possible, I still need fucking like Adderall or something like that. Holy fuck. Because I still have like ADHD, but it's like light and I'm able to do things, but I don't like that I keep getting fucking distracted. Why am I invisible? What the fuck? Oh, it's because I can make myself invisible. I forgot about that. Piano. God damn it. It is very important that you set things up so that you can have something to look forward to that's closer, the steps that are in between getting to the peak, right? That is what I'm trying to say. So first thing would be not learning how to play piano. You don't want to have that as your goal. What you want as your goal is the next step, which for learning piano right now is, okay, let me learn not music theory, but one aspect of music theory. Let me learn what rhythms are. Let me learn let me learn the layout of the keys. Let me learn the importance of what the keys even mean. Let me learn the pattern. Once you start learning these things, you're like, oh, fuck yeah, let me hit that target. Oh, I just learned what the pattern means. I'm like, oh, I just learned a little bit more about this aspect of music theory, of being like, oh, this is what rhythm is. This is what this or that, whatever the fuck. And once you start like being excited about those things, is that it is fucking awesome and you feel so great. Not that you're making progress toward that major peak, you're making progress almost on a weekly basis, we'll say on a weekly basis, of like, yes, it feels so good that I just hit this target, this next thing. Before I read your thing, I'm not even gonna look at it until I get through this thought, so 1 sec. It's something that Austin was talking about the other day. He was saying something about like Arnold Schwarzenegger says, somebody asked him or something like that with like, how is it that you're always smiling? Every day you're smiling. Everybody else here, they got like a sour face or whatever the fuck. And you're coming in, you're working out, and you're smiling with every set, you're smiling with every rep, blah, blah, blah. And it's because like, he's like, I'm not only gonna be happy that I'm not only gonna be happy once I reach the peak. I'm gonna be happy every step of the way because every day there's a new target I get to hit. I'm like, okay, today I got to do 1 more rep. Today I got to, I noticed that I gained an extra pound or something like that. Today, blah, blah, blah. Like every time I come in, the goal isn't the end goal. The goal is the next one. I'll have to definitely get it in line, like what I'm trying to say. It'll probably, maybe if I do make those videos, it'll come out like a little bit more clear, but yeah, that's the idea. Something I wanted to ask is, what would you do to manage your ADHD if you didn't have the meds? I have a friend who is heavily ADHD and his family couldn't afford meds or therapy for him. To be perfectly fucking honest, there's not a lot you can do without having massive amounts of pressure to do things. Massive. You effectively have to just like force a person to do a fuckload of shit. If there's not like a massive pressure to do a thing, you just aren't going to do it. You just aren't. So like, for example, the reason I showed up to work every day is because, oh my God, the alternative is I lose everything, basically. That is like the reason I go to work every day. The reason I wake up every day is because the alternative is I'm homeless or fucking I can't afford to live. So that is a massive pressure put upon me to keep me kind of, you know, a functioning human fucking being, right? If that wasn't in existence, if I, let's say, like most of my financial whatever the fucks were taken care of, I probably wouldn't give a fuck about going to work. If my parents were taking care of absolutely fucking everything, I wouldn't go to work. There'd be no reason for me to. There wouldn't be this massive pressure because like I know that like I could fall back on them to support me. So I wouldn't go. But because that is not the case and has never been the case, that's why I go to work. Or that's why I went to work, you know? Let's see, another example is like brushing, like a lot of times people with ADHD will have like issues with like hygiene and stuff like that. That's something I didn't have like that big of a deal with. But it was partially because my parents were like dickheads about it a lot of times and would like say a bunch of fucking fucked up shit or whatever the fuck. So like I kind of like felt like, oh my God, if I smell bad, I'm gonna be like a fucking piece of shit human being on this fucking earth or whatever the fuck. But also partially because like it's not societally acceptable to be like a smelly piece of fucking garbage, you know what I mean? So that's why like if I go outside, social pressures would dictate to me to make sure I took a shower, brushed my teeth, did all this fucking shit, made sure I was like presentable, I didn't smell like fucking garbage. On top of the obvious like low-key bullying that I got from my fucking parents and stuff like that. But, you know, it's like not that big of a deal. Honestly, it worked for me. And probably was the only way that I would have actually kept up on that, even though I don't think they knew that. So it is like you have to have like these massive pressures in order to like elicit those kinds of things without medication. Yeah, they literally have to be on top of him all the fucking time. And it really fucking sucks. It sucks so fucking bad. Like, I wouldn't do chores around the house unless, like, I would do them, but I would do them pretty fucking badly around the house because, like, I just couldn't get myself to fucking just do them. It just wasn't working. And this was a massive, like, rift between me and my mom for sure. And it really fucking blows that all it took was like a pill. All it took was a fucking pill to help a lot of these fucking issues. Like I think me and my mom's relationship would probably be like 10,000 times better way sooner if I had just got ADHD medication and shit like that, which is fucking unbelievable. It's unbelievable. Because yeah, I would come home from school and I'd be like, I'm just not doing this shit. I'm not doing this shit at all. I would try to do it sometimes, but also there would just be so much other shit that I would rather do. And I would do the job badly. I would just do it horribly bad. And that was like the main rift between a lot of like that was like the main issue most of the time. But now, bro, I don't give a fuck. I'll do chores because it's not that fucking hard. It actually is so fucking easy now. Compared to before where it'd be like, I'm just not doing this shit at all.
Put some music in or listen to a podcast and you can get a lot of shit done.
So what I'm basically saying is like, it is impossible to have like a really good fucking life with ADHD without medication. It is so fucking hard. It's actually the dumbest shit to not, like, you have to fucking go get a fucking diagnosis. It's impossible. Your brain literally just has, you have a smaller part of your brain that is literally physically smaller. I'm not even fucking memeing. It's smaller. You have a smaller part of your brain that other normal people don't have. It's crazy because everything you've described is basically happening with, yes, it's fucking insane. It's absolutely debilitating. It will fuck you. And as soon as I took the medicine, now, the medicine I'm taking is not exactly what you're supposed to use for ADHD, but it helps Oh, fucking immensely. It fucking helps so much. I still have like maybe a couple more steps that I could do, and dude, I'll be the next step in human fucking evolution. It's insane. There's a scale that I put people on through, like for like having ADHD, right? There are smart people with ADHD. There are dumb people with ADHD. If you're smart with ADHD, you are literally like hindering yourself. Like you are hindered so fucking hard, just enough for people not to really notice it, but enough that like if you had the medicine for it, oh my fucking God, it unlocks like another level of human capability. It's fucking unbelievable. And I think that's what's happening with me. Like I am, not to like sound like a fucking arrogant piece of shit or whatever the fuck, I'm fucking smart as shit. And when you have like the combination of like super high intelligence with like a lot of ADHD, you can brute force through so much of that shit really fucking hard. And it won't affect you in the ways that you might think. But it affects you a lot. I don't know. It's so hard to explain. Seems as though it is extra tough on him because he has anger issues. His family is low income and his family doesn't know how to deal with him and his problems. Yeah, like ADHD is also going to compound like that. Like there's so many tangential issues with ADHD that people also just don't recognize as being part of it, you know? On top of like just the hygiene thing, anger problems are going to be a big thing with it as well. Oh shit, please leave me. Please leave me. Please leave me. Dude, the jungle is the worst place to be. Oh my God. But anger problems are going to be one of those things as well. Irritability, quick to be irritable. It's just all these things. Oh, there's so many problems that, like, if you focus on ADHD, if you have ADHD, that is the thing that you need to focus on first and foremost before anything fucking else. Because if you can get that covered and handled and dealt with a little bit more, yeah, like you're going to have a lot easier of a time to deal with a lot of the other shit. Like the anger, I'm not gonna say like it's a guarantee that all the other shit will go away, but you are going to just have a lot easier time of like dealing with all these other problems. So much easier. Oh, fuck you, I was right there. Yeah, that is definitely something to keep in mind for sure. It's like almost unbelievable sometimes, like for me, how different I'm able to exist in the world with the medication that I have now. And it really fucking blows that you can't get it easily without medication and like getting like access to it without like having insurance from like a good job or something like that, or having like money and stuff like that. It fucking blows. Another question I have is, how am I able to help him? He means a lot to me because we've known each other for almost 5 years now, and I want to help him as much as possible. How to help somebody with ADHD? I mean, you're not going to be really in the position to help him as much as like his family would be, just because that's going to be like the most important part of everything, is being like if you have a family that's like super helpful, maybe you have like better chances and stuff like that. But realistically, the best, like, oh my fucking God, I'm about to die. The best thing you could do really is to just like, it's hard to say, because like the best thing that a person with ADHD can do is like get the diagnosis, and then, yeah, no, I'm working on it. Is get the diagnosis and then fucking get medicine. Because like I said, it's literally a brain issue. Like your brain, you just can't do anything without the medication. It seems like a kind of hopeless thing. It's like there's not really like much you can do, like unless you're like the parents, you know, or unless you like live with them, like having like that understanding of like, oh, this motherfucker literally can't do things unless you keep reminding him. It's not because he's a dumb fucking retard. It's because he just literally can't. He literally, like, he'll start the thing and then a thought will fly into his brain, and then boom, he's like spinning around doing some other shit and can't bring himself, he can't rein himself in. And that's what it is. Like you'll execute the program, but it's bad code. You've got bad fucking code that executes like you start to execute a program, but you have this junk code that's like also like going through line by line by line that you don't need. It's excessive code and inefficient. You have inefficient code that really fucks with your loading process. And that's the way I'm like, yeah, that's what it is. There's nothing you can really do about that. You have to go through the shit code in order to execute any actions. It's fucking unbelievable. Also, why am I fucking getting hurt? What is wrong with you? Why? It's like having 20 of those hour-long sounds interrupted by videos going on at the same time while trying to listen to someone talk to you. Yeah, that's one thing that's also fucking insane that I did not know was a thing. If you have ADHD, you experience the world entirely. This is something that I did not realize was actually a thing. When I went to the doctor, she said something that was so fucking unbelievable. Yeah, no worries. That was so fucking unbelievable to me that I was like, what? That seems fucking possible. Basically, she said that a normal person won't hear the things around them, or their brain will kind of like ignore a bunch of like inputs. So like you'll be sitting there listening to somebody talk, and you don't really pick up other sounds and stuff that are outside. You might hear them. It's not that you don't hear them. Your brain does something similar to your eyes, where your eyes ignore your nose. Your nose is right in front of your eyes, but it ignores them, right? But if you really do, if you think about it for a little bit too long, you can see your nose. You can see your nose all day, every day, but your brain ignores it. That is, a normal brain will do that with focus. It'll ignore other inputs that aren't what you're focusing on. If you have ADHD, you can't do that. You can't do that. You hear absolutely fucking everything. So if somebody's talking to you and you're in the house and you live close to a road that's like kind of busy, you'll hear every fucking car. Every fucking car. And you'll not only hear it, like this is normal to hear it, you'll hear it, like obviously, but you'll have it in like the forefront of your mind a little bit. It'll take like, it won't be that you're like, you have like this person talking to you in the forefront of your brain, but you'll also have like the sounds of the cars in the forefront of your brain as well. Maybe I have ADHD because I have issues with hearing where I find it hard to listen to someone if there is other audio stimuli going on at the same time, like other people's convos. It depends. That's why I'm like, it's a little weird. It's a little sketchy because I wouldn't say like any of these little things would indicate that you have like ADHD or anything like that, because a lot of this stuff is also very common. So it's hard to say. That's why like a diagnosis is super fucking important. Because a lot of the stuff that happens and like is an issue with like people who have ADHD is sort of common shit, you know? That doesn't necessarily mean you have ADHD. Because people will say stuff like that where it's like, oh yeah, I do that, you know? And that's like a very common thing that happens with like people who have ADHD, is that like when you explain it to other people, they're like, oh yeah, I do that too, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, no, you don't do it the same way. So yeah, like if you think that you might, then I would always suggest like get a diagnosis because it can't hurt or whatever the fuck. Yeah, and I think most people do, because like it's not normal for you to not be able to like pick up on like other inputs and stuff, but people with ADHD do it at like an extreme level where it's like over focused, like they have overactive focus, like they don't know how to differentiate between what they need to focus on and what they can't. Like it's insane. It is like I'm pretty sure it's a what's it called, evolutionary development to have ADHD, and that's why it exists now, is because back when we were like hunters gatherers and shit like that, it was super fucking important for you to be able to pick up on inputs that you weren't focusing on, because otherwise you'd fucking die because you didn't realize that there was a motherfucking like lion in the brush 50 meters away or some shit like that. You know, some people will say it's like a superpower, but not if you can't control it. And that's the big problem with it. It is really good, but it's out of control, so it's not really useful. People will say like, oh, I can really like, you're not efficient. It's like, oh, I could do so much, blah, blah, blah. No, you can't. You can't execute anything in a efficient manner. That's why it's such a fucking like issue, you know? Because like people will think that, right? Of like, oh yeah, I can do a lot of shit. You can't do absolutely fuck all in a timely manner, you know what I mean? Like I said, it's like bad code. You have like your brain is like built of like a fuckload of inefficient code that needs so much buffering time to execute anything meaningful. So I would probably stay away from ever saying it's like a superpower. How much shit do I got? Oh, I should probably clean up my inventory. Let's do that. Oh, it's so hard for me to keep my fucking thoughts straight still. Fuck. I need that. I need the stimmies, dude.
Keep thinking gay stuff.
Shut the fuck up, piece of shit.